Welcome back to Inside Anderson Raptors Athletics here on
Let's
AndersonRaptors.org.
go!
That man is fired up. Told us before we started recording he was going to come out of a cannon. That's Chris Newton, the athletic director. I'm Jason Griefer. Good to have you here with us once again. Newt, we're back. It's spring. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
Great to be back. And excited for you, Jason, and for Rob to get back, and let's get after it.
Absolutely. Let's get right into it. Yes, because we got a lot of stuff to talk about here. It is early in the season, so maybe kind of a hybrid preview. Talk about kind of what's happened in the first couple of weeks of the season. You'll see, fans will see how this goes as we go along here on this episode here today. Let's start off on the diamond here. Let's start off with your baseball team. They're already going. They're off to a 2-2 start, but are coming off of a thrilling 11-10 win over Ross over the weekend, rallying in the bottom of the seventh to come back and win that one. And of course, let's carry the momentum on to Bartell's Road tonight and look for a split in the series there. I'm curious, though, through the early going, I know high-scoring games are going to happen, like with that Ross win, 11-10. And like you said, you come back, rally for the win in that one. But I also want to get your thoughts on your pitching stat. The first three games, only allowing 4 runs in each game. That's got to be a pretty good omen as you start to hit the meat of league play.
Yeah. We, I think the big thing early on is just consistency. And it's finding that. And we've been very inconsistent. The first game, we lost 4-0. Josh Peterson threw the ball well. We just didn't swing the bats very well. Second game against Little Miami, we're down 4-0 right out of the get-go. And JoJo Overbeek settled down and threw the ball very well. Trey Moore came in, threw the ball very well. And then we got the hit sticks out, and we scored 14. Drew Gavin had a huge 3-run homer for us in that situation. And then on Friday, we're in a good place. We're up 2-0. Josh Peterson's throwing the heck out of the ball, and just kind of some mental mistakes took place and fell down. Then Saturday rolls around. And it's a great sign because the resiliency of our kids, we're down, we're down pretty much the whole game, and we keep fighting. We're down 10-9, 2 outs, nobody on base. They got their closer in. It's not looking good. Nathan Bell comes up with a big hit. We get a walk. We get a hit batter, I think it was. And then Aiden Trowbridge puts a bat on the ball. Things happen, and we score 2 runs and win, all with 2 outs. So, that's the big thing that I love to see is the resiliency of our kids. They didn't pack it in. They kept fighting. And that's what we're going to get with Sean Brennan and his crew. They're going to be a group that fights all year long. And when we do find that consistency, good things are really going to happen for us.
That's a good sign early, especially, like I said, with the pitching staff. Just as you said, got to get the consistency with the bats going. Yeah. But we've seen also when the bats are going, and they can swing it with anyone. So, still a long way to go in the season. But of course, you got a big one coming up with Bartell's Road. Yeah, absolutely. You got Lebanon coming up this week. So, really going to find out where we stand in this next week to 10 days. Or so. Kind of a similar story over with the softball program here. Already taken on Bartell's Road once, already took on Little Miami twice. So you're already in league play, getting going here. But it's been a struggle thus far, particularly for your pitching staff. They've been beat up pretty good early on in the season. You did get that nice win against McNick on Saturday, 11-8. So that's a good win in the non-conference. Kind of get things going as far as the season goes here. But I'm curious, particularly with the pitching staff. And I'm wondering there, in a league that's always difficult to win on any given day, top to bottom in softball, how quickly are you looking, and are the coaches looking for this pitching staff to kind of shore things up, especially over the next couple of weeks as they really start to hit the meat of the ECC schedule?
Yeah, and it's, we talk about baseball and we're talking about pitching. The most important thing in baseball is pitching. That just saying that the most important thing in softball is pitching is the biggest understatement in the world, because pitching is almost everything in the sport of softball. You can throw somebody in the middle of that diamond. It's much easier to win games 1-0 than it is 16-15. And we've got a young pitching staff. And I love the fight in them. And Anna Owens she's a sophomore, And really, she's the only one of the pitchers that could throw early in the year, or the first week of the season. Then we had a freshman come in and who hasn't been able to pitch until just this weekend. Had a sore shoulder, and Bailey Funk came in and gave us a couple innings. But Anna Owens, she is a trooper. She gets after it, and the one thing I like, she throws strikes, and I mean, it's her. We pay her big money to throw strikes, and the opponents get paid big money to hit. And so sometimes when they hit it where we're not, that's a bummer. And that's what's definitely happened this week. We haven't been where they've hit it. But Bailey Funk started the game for us Saturday and gave us a couple innings. And then Anna came in after throwing the first game, and she did great. And again, just the resiliency of our kids. And we had some kids swinging the bat. G. Conley got a couple big hits for us. Lily Conley's playing out of her mind. Katie Wegmans had a couple big hits. Had a great play out in left field by Sammy Martin on Saturday, which helped us win that game. So it's a group that's going to keep battling, and there's no doubt we're going to probably take our lumps a little bit because the ECC is a powerhouse. It is a powerhouse. And but the big thing I know is they're going to keep their heads up, and they're going to keep battling, and we'll see what happens.
Well, and especially it's nice, especially early in the season. You've got a bunch of young players coming in here. I'm looking at your lineup right now. You got multiple freshmen, multiple sophomores in your starting lineup there. So sometimes you just kind of rip the Band-Aid off, throw them to the wolves early. But the hope is as we go along, they kind of settle in. And as we talked about, that's a tough thing to do in the ECC. But still a lot of time left in the season to try and get to that point. Very, very early.
Very excited about this group.
Absolutely. Let's switch gears and let's move on to track and field right now. They're just kind of getting things going as well. They've got the Coaches Classic coming up this weekend. It's always an interesting time heading into April as far as training goes for your track and field athletes, because as well as I do around this area, you're looking at 35-degree weather one day and 75-degree weather the next day. Very difficult to train. So I'm curious from that perspective, how have you seen the track and field athletes, both the boys and the girls, adapt to that training, kind of work through that? And who are maybe a couple of names that you're looking for to kind of lead the way, particularly early on?
Yeah. Well, fortunately, our head coach has been through the rigors before with the weather. Andy Wolf, this is his 51st year as a head coach. So he's seen cold weather and he has seen warm weather, and he knows how to train our kids. And Carrie Lee, and we've got our new girls head coach, Kevin Roginski. They work so well together, and we've got great early performances. We competed against in the LaSalle Invitational last week. It was, I don't know, I think 37 degrees outside.
It wasn't warm.
It was snowing, and our kids performed incredibly well. I think we came in 5th in the boys and 6th in the girls. Braden Dostal is a young man. I don't know how he did it, but on the pole vault, I'm surprised they just didn't blow all over the place. In the pole vault, it does unbelievably well. We look for him to, he's battled through some injuries, and this is his senior year, and he's going to get after it, and he's going to have a great year. Sam Mizukawa is a young man that, we say his name in the fall, the winter, and the spring. He's a kid.
What doesn't he do?
I know. I'm telling you, and the kid's an unbelievable student as well. He is, I've tweeted out before, he is the definition of what a student athlete is all about. So he's such a great kid. Now on the girls' side, and we got a couple good discus and shot put there. We got a Brandon Philhauer, we got Bobby Stanyard, we got Cameron Mathis, that and they're young. They're sophomores and freshmen. So we're super excited about the growth of that. Then you got Ada North. Okay. Our young lady, Ada North, who, if you recall, her and Paige Elliff used to go back and forth of breaking each other's records. Mm-hmm. Well, unfortunately for Paige, she graduated. So Paige left Anderson, graduated from Anderson last year with the discus and the shot put record. Well, the discus record is already done. Aiden's already broke that. So, she'll be going after that shot put record here as well. So we're very excited about Aiden there. And then we got some, great kids that Kate Dorco, Shannon Jordan on the sprinting side. Audrey Baker, she's like Sam Mizukawa in that she's just like your definition of what a student athlete should be. She's going to do some great things in the distance for us as well. So we got good things. We got some nice weather coming up here. I think we got a couple events this week, so I'm excited to get out there and hoot and holler at them.
We will see how they develop as we go along, and who knows, maybe as we convene each week, Aiden's broken another school record or something. But we'll keep track of this as well. To check in with her and see if there's like any kind of like friendly jabs she sends at Paige. Now that Paige is gone, and she sends like the DJ Khaled gift saying another one.
Yeah,
like that type of thing.
Well, and I don't understand our throwers coach Joe Walla. He does an incredible job with the kids. So he walks in here Thursday to the office and says, "Hey, Newt, just want to let you know, she's probably going to break the record, tomorrow." And I'm like, how do you know this, Joe? I just feel it. I mean, the way she's practicing, and sure enough, she breaks it. So I hope Joe walks in here one day and says, "Hey, Newt, just want you to know that Aiden's going to win a state championship here tomorrow." And I'll be pretty excited about that.
Well, I mean, that's the buildup, right? You just another school record. Okay, and let's go with a state record and then a state title.
That's the plan.
We'll see how that goes as we go along here, and again, we'll keep track on another school record maybe falling in the next week or so. So we'll keep an eye on that.
And,
I'll
let you know.
Also, absolutely, we'll be keeping an eye on that. We're also keeping an eye on lacrosse programs. Let's start with the boys first. New head coach and Matt White comes in, and kind of a tough start early on. Of course, lacrosse is still a growing sport, but you obviously still have a lot of really good programs you take on early on in the season. But get that big win over Wyoming, 11-3, and really kind of a complete win. You're scoring the ball a lot, and you're also playing some very, very solid defense as well against an up-and-coming Wyoming team. So I'm curious there, how happy were you and Coach White, particularly with the defense, given that was a bit of a tough spot early on against Milford and Oak Hills?
Yeah, well, and I got to tell you this, the athletic director here at Anderson High School did not do a good job of setting up the schedule for a brand new head coach. Milford, I got to tell you what, was unbelievable. I mean, if they're not one of the top teams in the state of Ohio, I'm just absolutely amazed. So the first game of the year, we had a couple kids out of injury, and Milford is very impressive. So, we fought through that and got through there. The kids kind of, a little down, obviously. Had a pretty good matchup against Elder, a pretty good matchup against Oak Hills. And you could see us getting a little bit better every day. And Coach White's done a good job of keeping people motivated and keeping people up. And then we finally got our horse back. Connor Casey came back from injury. He had shoulder surgery, and he's been rehabbing, and it was like the kids just kept waiting for him to step on the field, and he stepped on the field. And not only our level of play raised, but the level of confidence that we have just raised dramatically on our team. So we got that dub Friday. Austin Kroner does an unbelievable job of manning the goal. And sometimes when you give up 10, 11 goals, you think, oh my gosh, that goalie, he's not very good. Austin Kroner is as good as you find. And the reason why somebody will score 11 or 10 goals is because they have 40 or 50 shots. Yeah. So with Connor Casey coming back, that's going to decrease those amount of shots. And that's exactly what happened on Friday night. And so I really see some good things when Matt Hilgenworth is back. So we've got some good things coming down the road. We got Little Miami tonight. So we're excited about that. We'll see what happens. But very excited for Matt White. He played here. He's been assistant coach, and he's earned this opportunity. And I'm excited to where he's going to grow this program.
And as you said, it's a long way to go, and not only this season, but going forward as far as where he wants to take it. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. Over on the girls side of things, they already have a league win against Little Miami as well. So, that's a good way to start things as far as league play goes. They also have played a very difficult non-conference schedule. Could you please get the athletic director on here so we can ask him about it? Because they, like the boys, have had a very, very tough non-conference schedule. But you got road matchups, Milford and Lebanon coming up this week. So again, early test to find out kind of where we are as far as the league goes. And we'll talk about the team as we go forward, but I want to focus on one young lady in particular, and that's your goalie, Brooklyn Thatcher, kind of coming in, as a freshman and kind of having to learn on the job, kind of trial by fire here, but already top 4 in the league in saves thus far. So she's doing her best to hold her own back there early on in her high school career. What have you in the early going learned about her ability, and also the maturity and willingness for her as a freshman to step in this league and take on that role as your number 1 goalie?
Yeah. And that, it's kind of interesting because we talk about softball and limited number of pitchers and stuff like that. Lacrosse is a limited number of goalies as well. And, when you start out in lacrosse, I've never played lacrosse, but when you start out in lacrosse and you ask, say maybe 7-8-year-olds, hey, who wants to be goalie? I cannot imagine people's too many hands going up. It's like being the goalie for the dart team, right? I mean, right. What in the world? I mean, who wants to get rock hard, rubber balls shot at you as 60 miles per hour? And so there's not a lot of those people that want to do this. Fortunately for us, we've got a couple young ladies that are very tough and want to be the goalies. So Aiden Layton is our varsity goalie. Well, she's been injured. Okay. Mm-hmm. So then what happens is Brooklyn Thatcher, who comes from a lacrosse family, and Brooklyn Thatcher could play any position on the field. And fortunately her dad taught her how to play goalie. So she goes from being our JV goalie. Hey, congratulations. You're now the goalie at the varsity level. And then we have another young lady, Maddie Kopris, who hasn't played goalie, who then plays goalie at the JV level. So it's next woman in, and so what happens to see the growth that, number one, we threw Brooklyn Thatcher in a position that's not really fair to throw a freshman in, but mm-hmm. She did it. And as you mentioned, she did a very good job of the amount of saves that she made. Again, gave up a ton of shots. Okay. So she's going to give up some goals, but she's also made a lot of saves. To see the growth of her, not only the physical growth, but the mental growth as well. Mm-hmm. We were down early on in the season, and the bond that has, I'd say our girls softball program has grown. I mean, our girls lacrosse program has grown tremendously in these last weeks, not just out on the field, but off the field as well. And a lot of that is the bonding together of these new kids, Brooklyn Thatcher, a freshman, with some of the older kids, the defenders. They got to learn how to work together. And that was a struggle early on. Now we're starting to see good things happen. So we got Aiden back. So that's great. So, in Brooklyn, she'll be up there. She'll be up, she'll get some more varsity time as well. But we're excited to get Aiden back, and Brooklyn did a great job, and she can learn at a slower rate than, hey, go get in there. Let's see what you can do. So we're excited. I think we got it. Like you said, we got a couple this week, Milford and Lebanon, and we're going to get better and better each and every day.
And that cohesion can only get better as you go along on the season.
You can't talk about that enough. And
mm-hmm.
Chemistry, It doesn't win games per se, but chemistry wins championships. Okay. If you don't have that, your talent can win you a game, but your talent doesn't win you a championship. Your chemistry has to. And so they're doing a good job of developing and working on that. I'm very proud of those young ladies.
Team, it seems like it already has a lot of chemistry and a lot of cohesion, both individually and with the doubles, is your tennis program. Obviously, coming off of a league championship a year ago, nice run through the postseason here. They look every bit like the league champ from a year ago coming back. You've already had the sweep over Lebanon. You have wins over St. X and Elder. Those are no small things there to get wins over two GCL programs. So with that, coming in as the defending league champs now, and with a lot of guys back from that team a year ago and some key contributors there and some other kids stepping up, of course, how are you seeing them approach this early stage of the year, knowing that every time an opponent sees Anderson on the schedule, they know this is a pretty good program we're going to have to deal with. This is going to be a tough one today.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we're able to throw some kids out there that have that can get it done. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I don't know if you're aware of this. Ben Zhao, he's our number one. And I got to tell you, just watching that level of tennis to me is unbelievably impressive. I mean, I can go out there and I can hit a tennis ball, but watching these kids is amazing. The how hard they hit it, the spin they hit it, the athleticism to get to the balls. So Ben Zhao is our number one. Our number two is Allie Daly. You might remember Allie Daly from playing
She's pretty good
tennis.
She's pretty good.
25-0 2 years ago. Unfortunately, Allie was not able to play girls tennis this past fall. So due to that, she was able to play boys tennis this year. So she's our number two. And so, I'm not 100% sure what people think when they show up to our tennis courts and they go out there and then they leave, not very happy because she's a hammer. She is a hammer. And then Tristan Stanek, he is our number three. Though I think when early on in the season, when they were just inter-squadding each other, I think they were all, 2-1 against each other. They can, on any given day, any three of those can beat each other. And so that's a lot of fun. And we got Tommy Hadley and Adam Stockslager manning our one doubles. And so we can throw some kids out there that can win some matches. And it's very exciting. We went up to Centerville. We took a loss at Centerville in the state team. But Centerville, they're very
Centerville's very good.
Yeah. And again, Jace, my philosophy, and unfortunately, that's why, sometimes we do suffer some early defeats and quite honestly, some big defeats, because we're going to play the best that there is. And we're going to figure out where we are. And, by playing really, really good teams out of the gate, you find out where your weaknesses are. So now you can work on those weaknesses early on in the season instead of waiting until halfway through the season to play a hammer. And then that exposes your weakness. And now you only got a couple weeks before the state tournament to work on your weakness. We want to know what they are right away. And then we go to work on that to get better and prepare for the state tournament.
Well, you're figuring out maybe a weakness here or two there, but you have a lot of strengths on this program as we talked about here. And we're going to be talking about them as we go forward a lot more. And maybe coming up here, get a little more in depth on Allie's transition from girls to playing boys tennis, because that's a very unique thing. She's obviously talented enough to do it, but the inside thing we'll maybe talk about there coming up in the next few weeks or so. Newt, great to have you back on here once again. Good to be talking to you once again. And I'm glad you're able to stay seated in your chair throughout this thing here today, because I know how fired up you've been ready to go here, and we'll be looking forward to talking with you again over the coming weeks.
So excited to see you again, Jason and Rob, and just again appreciate so much what you guys do for us and allow us to get the names of our kids out there. And we got great kids, and I can't wait to share them with everybody this spring.
Plenty more to come here in the coming weeks from Anderson Athletic Director Chris Newton here on Inside Anderson Raptors Athletics here on andersonraptors.org and ESP Media, powered by Sidearm Sports.
See you.